Hey guys, so we're interested in telling you more about the area. We started the music school, I did, started this music school in Olivedale. So it's part of Randburg, and I've asked Xolani if you'll read some of the history of it. We'll put the links to the actual sites where these articles come from, so you can read more about it. If there's anything that you know about Randburg or Olivedale that we don't know about, we'd love to include it in here. This is meant to be a community video, so you'd be able to get it. It's more of a sense about the place that you live in, the place that we work in, and that we service. So if you're able to send us anything, put it in the link there, or email us, or anything like that, and we'll make it known to everyone else.
Hi everyone, my name is Xolani, piano teacher at Ross Howard Music. Today I'll be briefly reading to you the history of Randburg and of Olivedale. The fascinating history of Randburg, as seen on the Heritage Portal website. The earliest inhabitants of the era now called Randburg were tribesmen roaming the open veldt. Examples of their Iron Age craftsmanship can still be found on some of the local copies. Little is known of the culture and history of these early people. What we call history, that is what is documented and recorded, starts in Randburg in the middle of the last century. The 1850s, 4 farms were settled by Boer pioneers. These were called Klipfontein, Driefontein, Levenshoutsport and Basco. And were later subdivided among the sons of the farmers, as was the usual tradition. The original farm Driefontein extended from the northern boundary of Bryanston to the present Braamfontein. It was later subdivided into 9 plots by his sons. Charles Rocha, a Frenchman from Bordeaux, bought one of the sections and named it after his mother town. He was one of the early pioneers of the Cape deciduous farming on the Transvaal. Some of the older plots in the area still have fruit trees growing in groves. Boskoop Farm was bought by a famous Rand entrepreneur, Dale Lace, who converted a farmhouse into a country residence, as was the style of the time. In 1929, Tom Kelly restored the home and named it Haymani, which is presently being considered as a national monument. With the discovery of gold, Randburg became fashionable as an investment for rich English gentlemen like Abe Bailey. Street names like Carlton Road, Church Street, and Pritchard Street sprang up in the veldt. Perhaps it was rumors of gold that caused the purchases, or it could have been the fabulous hunting that existed in Randburg. Antelopes and birds teemed the hills and valleys, and the name Hunter's Hill bears witness to these early, never to be repeated times when game was plentiful in this corner of Gauteng. A major influx to Randburg came with the Great Depression of 1928 to 1934 and the crippling drought which lasted 4 years. Thousands of flat land farmers flocked to the city, but many preferred the rural areas and settled in Randburg. These pioneers constructed their own homes without any assistance from the state. Life was simple and unhurried, and there was plenty of food for the pot. Development began in 1950, when there were less than 9,000 inhabitants in Randburg. 10 years after, there were 13 townships, a newspaper called Noor Nice, and shops and businesses were opening a space. With development came the question of municipal status. Should Randburg be part of Old Johannesburg or not? In 1959, the name of Randburg was decided by means of competition. Other names submitted were Ferrydale, Ego, and Zuriel, and Randburg was inaugurated as municipality. In 1968, Johannesburg put forward the idea of incorporating Randburg into its municipal boundaries, but Randburg remained independent, and today its jurisdiction is almost 100 square kilometers. In 1972, the town council set guidelines for the development of townships, residential areas, the CBD, and industrial areas. The success of this plan is seen in the development of Randburg, undoubtedly a boom town with tremendous future. The reason why we're telling you in the history of Randburg and the stories of Randburg is because Ross Howard Music is based in Olivedale. Now, Olivedale is another suburb which is also based within the region of Randburg. Now, with me, I have the history of Olivedale, which is written by the Olivedale Retirement Village. The history of Olivedale. The township of Olivedale, part of Olivenhoutsport, was developed on the Amsterdam estate, which was established in 1943 by Mr. H. Messias, a diamond dealer who immigrated from Holland before the Second World War. He established a free-range chicken farm and planted an orchard of 50,000 peach trees. His house and surrounding structures were built by Italian prisoners of war who were obtained from Zonderwater prisoner of war camp. Irrigation was established for the peach trees for a borehole, which required a source of power. What could be more appropriate to a native of Holland than a Dutch windmill? The Italians constructed the windmill using a magazine picture as their guide. Yes, a magazine picture as their guide. This windmill was declared a national monument in 1989 and is located a few kilometers from our village. Can be seen at 22 Patrick Street, Olivedale today. The actual ground where the Olivedale Retirement Village has been built was inherited in the mid-60s by Margaret Constance Matthews, a New Zealander by birth, from her sister, Mrs. Thorlow. Margaret lived by herself and farmed a small herd of cattle and a quantity of chickens. The cowsheds and milking parlor were situated where today stands the guard control room at the village's entrance. Milk was supplied to Douglasdale Dairy, which was owned by one of her 4 sons, Brian. She began restoration of many old houses that were on the property, which were later lived in by family members. Margaret constructed a scenic dam to attract birds to the area. Margaret Matthews died in 1993 and is buried next to a family member, Claire, who dies at the age of 6. They are buried in a small cemetery located just outside the main entrance of the retirement village. The developers of the Olivedale Retirement Village purchased the land from Matthews' family in 2010 and began construction of the village in 2013, thanks to Brian Appleton, published in Olive's News, June of 2015.
Hi guys, so we just quickly up to where a bit of history for our area, Olivedale and Johannesburg North, Johannesburg, South Africa. We're based in Olivedale, and this we're going to go and have a look quickly at the windmill that's still in existence in one of the nursery schools here on their property, and it is a part of the history of this area. I mean, there are places here that are named Amsterdam Estate and Amsterdam Road and all sorts, and yet the history is quite cool about this area, where it was a Dutch immigrant who had a farm here with free-range chickens and 50,000 peach trees, and he needed to irrigate the land. But there's a windmill in the middle of Olivedale, which is a built-up area. It just seems like a little bit of history that's left behind. Fun. We'll see it now. I know it's been made a monument or something, but I don't know how many people even know about it. So it's quite interesting. This estate on the side here is called Amsterdam, and this road that we're going into now is called Amsterdam as well, which is obviously named after the Dutch immigrant, which is quite cool. There you can see a guy who's going around and collecting metal and things to recycle. They're all over. Because South Africa doesn't have a full-on recycle centre as yet. We have people who got companies that are meant to, but they don't do a particularly great job of it. So they're guys who literally walk around pulling trolleys. So these guys are making a living from going around pulling trolleys, and at the end of the day their trolleys are like so laden with stuff, but they're still able to drag it around and take it to the place to get the money that they've from what they've collected for the day. We're coming up to the place now. I'm just going to pull in and take a picture.